The Other Side Media Group and 91X now present The Other Side Radio Show, a program about people who make a difference from all walks of life in Quinte and beyond. And now here are your hosts, Jeremy and Joshua Davis.
Hello, and welcome again to an Other Side special report. I'm Jeremy Davis. Well, today on the show, Joshua and I are proud to have as our very special guest Liberal candidate for the Hastings L&A Riding, Mr. Mike Bossio, and current Belleville Councillor and federal Conservative candidate for our Bay of Quinte Riding, Mr. Ryan Williams. Plus, we will have a tribute to the frontline workers 1 year after the global pandemic began, by Ambush, and much more, as well as Canadian author and poet J.R. Davis is back with more words of hope, so you don't want to miss a minute of this. We'll be right back. Thanks for listening, everyone. Stay tuned.
My name is Mike Bossio. I'm the Liberal candidate for Hastings, Lennox and Addington, and I'm providing this recording to the Other Side radio show, Jeremy and Joshua Davis. Thank you both so much for giving me the opportunity to present myself to the constituents of Hastings, Lennox and Addington. I guess to start off with, for those who don't know me, I grew up in Hastings, Lennox and Addington in Madoc. And I moved back to the area in 1994 with my wife, Irene, and two children. I had my own business called Boscan Consultants since 1989, where I was responsible for sales, marketing, and recruitment of R&D professionals globally for the telecommunication industry. I previously served as a council member for Tynanega Township back in the late 90s to early 2000s. When I then left politics to be involved in an organization called Concerned Citizens of Tynanega and Environs, where I was the chair from 2008 to 2015, but I helped to lead a successful 23-year battle against the world's largest waste company, Waste Management Corporation, who proposed building a massive landfill on fractured limestone. I was then elected in 2015 as the Member of Parliament for Hastings, Lennox and Addington, and during that time I really enjoyed serving the constituents of Hastings, Lennox and Addington, but I'll get into that a little more. I'd actually, first like to say that, over the past year, since losing the election in 2019, many people have asked, do I plan to run again? And they, like myself and countless others, have been deeply troubled, by the extreme views of the current MP and his failure to provide fair and responsible representation locally. They know that our riding deserves better, and so I am grateful to be once again nominated as the Liberal candidate for Hastings, Lennox and Addington, and to serve a riding which I love. I want to also express my gratitude to Minister Monsef and the Prime Minister for the opportunity I was given to serve as a senior advisor for rural affairs, and for the confidence that they had in me to make a difference for rural Canadians. It was rewarding to continue the work that I initiated as a Member of Parliament when I served as the chair of the National Rural Caucus in areas like broadband connectivity, infrastructure, economic development. But for me, I really missed serving the constituents of Hastings, Lennox and Addington. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm a constituent-based MP. But what does that mean? Well, for one thing, it means I won't use the riding as a platform to pursue personal ambitions or policies that we know the majority of Canadians already oppose. In my first term as MP, I traveled to every part of this riding, meeting with constituents, organizations, businesses, municipalities, to discuss the issues that were most important to them and to work with them to find solutions. You can't represent your riding if you don't get out and meet the people of this riding. You must take those solutions to Ottawa to be their voice, to be their champion, to advocate, and to work both collaboratively and diplomatically with those in governments to find pathways to success. In other words, you have to find creative ways to get stuff done. And the best way to do that is to work hand in hand with whoever you do. It doesn't matter what political stripe they are. It doesn't matter what their background is. You've got to work together to find solutions and to get stuff done. Ask any community leader, organization, or business that I worked with, and I'm sure they'll tell you that I didn't rest until I was able to find solutions to create successful outcomes. In my first term, I was able to bring a lot of funding that benefited our riding. And these investments are making changes in everyday lives, from broadband connectivity to infrastructure to economic development and protecting our environment. It's about creating and protecting jobs, protecting our citizens and businesses, and protecting the health and safety of the environment. Now, COVID has made 2020 a very tough year. And we've still got a long way to go before we're through it. But I'm proud to be a candidate for a party that is governed with everyone's interest in mind during this pandemic. Our government has provided the financial support to our economy that is enabling many people, organizations, and businesses to survive throughout this unprecedented crisis. And with the purchase of PPE or the funding of homegrown and manufacturing of PPE and vaccines, the approval of vaccines and support for testing, the government is ensuring that we have the support we need to protect our health and safety through the end of this crisis. And this has been and will continue to be an all Canada, all government effort. All Canadians should be proud of how our governments have come together at all levels and the support of Canadians, throughout this crisis. There have been, the odd jabs, of course, but for the most part, this is, governments of all levels have been very nonpartisan in their efforts to do whatever they can to protect the health and safety of Canadians to get us through this. As the Prime Minister has said, this is our chance to build a Canada that is healthier and safer, greener and more competitive. A Canada that is more welcoming and fair. This is our moment to change the future for the better. And here in Hastings, Lennox and Addington, better starts with better representation, one that values diversity and inclusion, one that is fair and responsible, one that puts the interests and needs of the constituents ahead of personal ambition in the pursuit of ideological extremes. There is so many areas that we need to build back better here in our own riding, whether that's childcare, whether it's healthcare, whether it's keeping our seniors in their homes happier, healthier, longer, whether it's helping our small businesses to transition to a digital economy, providing that broadband connectivity that is going to enable our businesses to grow and prosper, our youth to stay in our communities and learn remotely, do their homework remotely, whether it's providing healthcare through telemedicine, or bringing more doctors to our rural communities. These are all really important issues that need to be dealt with. While at the same time, we're dealing with the inequalities that exist within our society, the demographic changes that are happening in our society, and of course addressing one of the other big pressing concern that we have as Canadians in dealing with climate change and transitioning to a clean growth economy. These are all areas that are vitally important to our residents of Hastings, Lennox, and Addington that I want to focus on in another term if the voters of Hastings, Lennox, and Addington choose to allow me to do so. The experience that I received previously as a member of Parliament and now as a senior advisor for rural affairs under Minister Monsef's department ministry have positioned me and given me the knowledge and the experience to be able to get stuff done, to find those creative solutions, to find those thinking outside of the box solutions that are going to benefit the constituents of Hastings, Lennox, and Addington. But of course, our journey to better starts with you. We know that it'll take an army of volunteers to win back this riding. And I am so grateful to all of you who have come forward to sacrifice time and energy to ensure our success in the next election. So thank you all. Thank you so much, Jeremy and Joshua, for the opportunity once again to present myself to the constituents of Hastings, Lennox, and Addington, and some of the thoughts and ideas that I think we need to be focused on moving forward if we're going to continue to grow, to prosper, and to protect the health and safety of all Canadians, and to ensure that we create a fair and just society for all Canadians, and especially rural Canadians and the constituents of my riding. So I wish everyone well. We're almost on the through the end of this COVID crisis. We just need to stay disciplined for a few more months. So please, everyone, stay disciplined, stay respectful towards each other's health and safety, and of course, each other's lives. And let's get through this together. We can do this. We've done it now for a year. We just got a little further to go. So please, everyone, be well, be safe, and I look forward to seeing everyone face to face again in the not too distant future. Take care. Bye-bye.
This is Ryan Williams, the candidate for the Bay of Quinte Conservatives, with Jeremy and Josh Davis on the Other Side Radio Group. Thank you very much for having me on today. I really appreciate it. I'm running to secure our future for the next election and make sure that we have good energy and good ideas and good representation from Bay of Quinte in Ottawa. I've been spending a lot of my life working on Bay of Quinte region. In the last 17 years, I was the chair of Bay of Quinte Regional Tourism. I founded a group called Bay of Quinte Living that looked at drawing people to move to this area and looking at immigration. I founded a group called Quinnovation, which whole goal was to make Bay of Quinte region the most dynamic, innovative rural innovation city or region in Canada by 2023. And as a Belleville councillor, I think and I act regionally. I always think of the Bay of Quinte region. We're part of a bigger area. And my father being the mayor of Quinte West and myself as a councillor of Belleville and spending a lot of time in the county, I understand how this region works and what it needs. I have a family of three children, 7, 6, and 3, and I'm married to my lovely wife, Allison. We've been married now for 12 and a half years, and here living in the Bay of Quinte region the whole time. So really love that. A couple of questions, of course, the gentleman wanted me to answer today. And one of them was, what will be the top issues facing the Bay of Quinte riding and that the federal government will have to address after the next election? Well, the top one's going to be the economy. How do we continue to build this region up? And the biggest thing that I think about when I'm talking about the economy is medium household income. How much money are you taking home in this region? And it's really been stagnant for the last 10, 15 years. It's something that I really feel needs to grow. You know, when we look about medium household income, the average income for this area is only $55,000, and we need to see that grow towards the provincial average, which is $75,000. That's take-home pay that I want to see you take home into your household when we look at the future of this region. So that's probably the biggest issue that I look at and I want to see increase. The second one is housing itself, affordable housing and housing. It's becoming absolutely unaffordable. I don't think any one of us believe that any of our children will be able to afford a home in this region in the years to come. The average last month hit $560,000. So that's something we really need to address. And the third part is being able to stay here, find a home, like I've mentioned, and to be able to have a job in this region is really, really important. And that's something that I believe is going to be challenging and I want to work on as your MP. Second question, in what ways do you believe the Conservative Party are ready to govern more effectively than the current Liberal government? Well, look, I think the Conservative government, and I'll talk myself as an MP, you have to have a plan and you have to have measurable goals. And those are two things that I believe I'm going to be able to bring to the table as your MP. As I've stated already, those measurables being medium household income, being able to have jobs that pay a greater wage and have training for employees already here to make a greater wage. I think that's really important. And I really believe a Conservative government who really believes in a free market and believes in entrepreneurship and innovation, and believes in workers in general. That what's greater than a CERB check is a paycheck. what's greater than being an EI is actually having a job. And I really believe that. And I'll be able to really work on your behalf as an MP to make sure that we're looking at those measurables. Like I said, with housing, looking at, we need to build so many affordable housing units. I'll actually set a goal, which will be about 1,000. I want to see in 5 years 1,000 affordable housing units built that the federal government has a direct connection to. And at the end of the day, I think that's going to be really important. 3, what makes you the best choice to represent the people of the Bay of Quinte Riding over your opponents? Well, look, I've got the energy, I've got the enthusiasm, and more importantly, I'm a solutions-based politician. I really look at having solutions to problems, and I've demonstrated that as a politician for the last 2 years. More importantly, I'm an ideas-based politician. I really understand and I can problem solve to the problems we've got in this area. I've spent my time looking at those problems and dealing with those problems, whether that be the non-traditional economic development required that I did through Quinnovation, or looking at how to develop our waterfront in Belleville through the pop-ups in the Bay. I really thrive on looking at problems and being a solutions-based politician to solve those, and I'm going to continue to do that. I've got a lot of energy. My family is very young. And I live here in this area, and I always have. I grew up in Quinte West growing up, and I live in Belleville right now, but I certainly have also a strong affection for Prince Edward County and the sanctity of it, and how we need to preserve the uniqueness and the ruralness of the county and this whole area, knowing the business owners and business people in this area, as well as the people, and getting to know them and being part of this community for a long time. I really feel I just have a different level of energy. I feel I have different ideas and a different approach to this area. And in saying that, I really believe and I hope that I can earn your vote in the election coming up, because I really believe in the Bay of Quinte region. I've spent a lot of time, and I love the Bay of Quinte region, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. 4, if your party was in power, how do they believe they would handle the pandemic differently? Look, I got to give credit to all the levels of government and all, municipal, provincial, and federally. This is a tough thing to go through, a pandemic, and I think the governments have tried their best. And you know what? Most importantly, they've worked with all levels of government. I know that the Conservative Party has worked with the Liberal government, who've worked with the NDP. The federal government's worked with the provincial Conservative government here in Ontario. And as a federal or municipal government, we've worked with the provincial government. So I've got to really hand it to you. The thing that we really feel was probably mishandled the most was how many vaccines we've got rolling out. The U.S. has vaccinated as many people in one day as we did in 3 months. And we're 60th in the world for vaccinating our citizens per capita. That is the one thing we would have changed, and we would have handled it a little differently. Having said that, I know that we're still trying to work together to vaccinate as many people as we can by as quick as we can, because the quicker we're vaccinated, the faster we're back to a normal life and to a local economy or a normal economy. So we're trying to really support that. So I'll focus on that. If we have a new government, or if I'm your new MP, we're going to continue to work really hard to make sure, one, this country is vaccinated, but more importantly, that we get the economy back on track as a whole. Thank you very much. Again, my website is votewilliams.ca. I'm Ryan Williams. I'm running to be your next MP for the Bay of Quinte. And you can reach me anytime at votewilliams.ca or info@votewilliams.ca, and my cell phone, 613-827-7926. Thank you very much. Vote Williams, and all the best to you as we continue through this pandemic.
Up next on a very special show, we are very pleased to have Mark of Ambush fame with his special tribute song to the essential workers called Frontline Worker.
Hey guys, I wrote this song today for Carolyn Giroux. It's actually Danny, our drummer's sister. She's been a nurse for about just over a year. I saw her picture on Facebook, and I got thinking about her and all the frontline workers, and this song kind of just came to me, so I'd like to share it with you. It goes like this. alarm goes off at 5 a.m. She whispers, here I go again. Feels like she hasn't slept in years. Puts on her scrubs, her hair up in a ponytail. She fights back tears, it's been hell. She hasn't hugged her own 2 kids in weeks. 'Cause she's a frontline worker, caring for the sick and elderly. Hope she knows how proud we are of her. From coast to coast of our great country. She sees and feels loss every day. She's held hands as they slipped away. And prays to God, how can this be? But she stays strong for everyone, fighting every day since this begun. A capeless hero to you and me. 'Cause she's a frontline worker, caring for the sick and elderly. Hope she knows how proud we are of her. From coast to coast of our great country. 'Cause she's a frontline worker, caring for our sick and elderly. Hope she knows how proud we are of her. From coast to coast of our great country. Hope she knows how proud we are of her. From coast to coast of our great country. Yeah, she's a frontline worker. For all of our frontline workers, stay safe. God bless.
And now, Dr. Stephen Chalk with Canada, You Are My Home, a tribute to our great country.
In a world filled with wars, and in times of disgrace, we welcome much freedom to every culture and race. You define natural beauty in every province and shore. Proudly we band, in peace we explore. Canada, you are my home. We're never alone. When our maple leaves blow, Canada, you fill us with pride. We stand by your side. In love we abide. You soar like a bird from east to the west. You have global respect for doing what's best. Wherever one travels, and when someone shakes your hand, when you say I'm Canadian, their hearts understand. With pride, we stand by your side. In love we abide. We are lakes, we are forests, environmental and mountainous lands. We are English and French, multicultural and indigenous clans. When our sticks touch the ice, a whole nation will stand. If you're ever in pain, we'll always lend you a hand. It's our patriotic way to promote gentle goodwill. En vent magnifique, we're on top of the hill.
And now, joining us behind the mic, Canadian author J.R. Davis, and more words of hope. This is Destiny's Rider by Joshua Davis. We are all Destiny's riders in the rodeo of life. We plan, we scheme, we enjoy our life. Settling up, we hold on to the reins so tight. Galloping through the meadow, it is quite a plight. From the day we are born, we have determination to fight the good fight. We all want to be good gamblers and lasso the moon and the stars just to find out who we truly are. We look up to the sky and we will find our shooting star. The ride may be bumpy at times and throw you off course, but always have the will to come back for more until we reach that finish line on that distant shore. We are all legends and heroes of our Lord, so who could ask for more? We are all Destiny's riders in the rodeo of life. Thank you very much. God bless you. Well, that is our very special Other Side radio show for today. Our thank you to all our special guests. Josh and I will see you next week. God bless.
The Other Side Radio Show is a production of the Other Side Media Group in association with 91X. Copyright 2021, all rights reserved. You can connect on Facebook at the Other Side Media Group, Instagram at Jeremy Tyler Davis, or on YouTube at Jeremy T. Davis, Belleville, Ontario for on-demand episodes and more. Tune in next week for another episode of the Other Side Radio Show.